PDC World Matchplay Darts is fastly approaching. Let's go through this year's tournament. I'm going to quickly run through each side of the draw. There's four sides. Who I think is going to win each side and who will be the semi-finalist and the overall winner from there. We're going to start on the top hand of the draw. So the first seed side, world number one. He has Gio van der Veen, Norbert Menzies, Nathan Espinal, Neil Schman, James Wade, Joe Cullen. Now it all goes to seedings. The quarter-final tie, which would be the final tie of this side of the draw, would be Aspinall and Humphreys. And I'm betting on that will be the game. I think Aspinall's had a good year this year. For me, it's an argument that he's probably potentially the fourth best player in the world at the moment. But obviously Luke Humphreys is the man to beat, and he's the defending champion, the world number one. But he's got a hard draw in the first game against Van der Veen. If he comes through that, I expect him to get to the end of this side of the draw. Again, I know people, I've already mentioned Aspinall, but you've got quality in there like James Wade, who does show up here. Last year he did, and he's won here before, obviously. But I expect Luke Humphreys to get through this side of the draw and get to the semi-finals. Now, if we go down to who he potentially play in the semi-finals, this is led by number 4 seed Stephen Bunting. He also has Ryan Joyce, Anderson, Gary Anderson, Luke Woodhouse, Johnny Clayton, Mike Schindler, Chisnell, and Mike De Decker. Now I'm looking at this one. This one's very wide open. Bunting has been impressive, but he's been inconsistent. He didn't have a good Premier League. Ryan Joyce, he's there. He always seems to show up when you don't expect him to. Semi-finalist in the Grand Prix last year. Luke Woodhouse, we know what he done last year. He nearly won a major. We know Anderson. We know what Johnny Clayton can do, and he's been on good form, Johnny Clayton, without winning anything. Martin Schindler, a player that continues to do it on the European Pro Tour, but never really on the big main TV events. Chisnell just loves it on the Pro Tour, and then obviously De Decker, who hasn't really gone on from winning the Grand Prix. Very open. I'm looking here and I'm thinking this could be someone that we don't expect to get to the semi-finals. But I'm going to stick my neck out and I'm going to say that Johnny Clayton will probably beat Gary Anderson in the quarterfinals, the final of this side of the draw. And he will go to the semi-final and join Luke Humphreys. Now let's go to the bottom side. I think it's the bottom side, guessing now. World number 2 side of the draw. Luke Littler, Ryan Searle, Peter Wright, Jermaine Rottamina, Damon Hatter, Andrew Gilding, Dirk van Dijbode, and Rob Cross. I think this opens up for Littler. I think this is a perfect side of the draw. There's a lot of players not particularly firing in all cylinders. Rob Cross and Peter Wright. Rottamina is on form, continues to improve after a few hard years, and he'll look to be a tough challenge potentially for Littler. I expect him to beat Peter Wright. Damon Hatter, a player that, he's played well here before, and he's a consistent player, but without winning anything. I expect Luke Littler to win this side of the draw quite easily, and I expect him to go to the semi-finals. Very simple, very quick. I just don't see anyone here troubling him. Rob Cross, I don't know. He's 1 minute he's great, and the next minute he's not. He's got the potential. He's won here before, I believe. So I think Rob Cross and Damon Hatter will be a very good game. I expect them both to win their first round games. I think Littler will win it, as I've already mentioned. I think he will probably take out Damon Hatter in the quarterfinals to get to the semis. And then the last side of the draw, Michael Van Gerwen, Barneveld, Ross Smith, Josh Rock, Chris Dobie, Petresco, Gerwin Price, and Daryl Gurney. The most competitive side. I think this has got so many players can get to the semi-finals on this side of the draw, and not one of them is Van Gerwen. I think Josh Rock is a very fancy player after winning the World Cup and having a really improved last year. After a difficult first full year, he's come back to form. He's playing a guy in Ross Smith who is probably the most frustrating player in darts. He won the Pro Tour event by smashing everyone a few months ago. He was set up to do well last year, but lost in the quarterfinal. He has won a major, but I think Josh Rock will come through that. And then you've got Chris Dobie, who we know what he can do on his day. And then obviously Gerwin Price, who probably is the third best player in the world. So I do expect nothing from Van Gerwen, unfortunately, or Barneveld. They've really lost form. Van Gerwen, I think he'll now continue to slide. I don't know. He just didn't seem He hasn't seen himself since the World Cup, the World Final. So yeah, Gerwin Price will go through this side of the draw. I think he beats Josh Rock in a bout of a quarter final, and he will join Luke Littler in the semis. So the semi-finals, I expect Humphreys to beat Clayton, and I expect Littler to beat Price. So it's going to be Luke Littler versus Humphreys. Who do I think is going to win the final? I'm going to go for Luke Humphreys to retain in a bouter. It might go to sudden death, but Luke Humphreys will win the World Match Play.